Holy Wednesday arrives without announcement. It does not carry the brightness of earlier days, nor the visible momentum of what is to come. It settles quietly, like a weight we become aware of only when we stop moving. The noise has faded now. The pace has slowed. And in this stillness, something deeper begins to surface. The soul grows more honest here. It becomes less interested in appearance and more attentive to truth. We begin to notice not just what we are doing, but why we are doing it. Not just the decisions we make, but the subtle forces that guide them. There are choices we make out loud, and there are those that form quietly within us long before they are spoken. Holy Wednesday draws our attention to the latter. It invites us to sit with questions we often move past too quickly. What is guiding my decisions beneath the surface? Am I acting from clarity, or from pressure, fear, or habit? Where have I already decided without truly seeking God? These are not questions that accuse, they are questions that uncover. They gently reveal the unseen currents shaping the direction of our lives. This day has long been associated with a decision made in quietness, away from the crowds, when Judas Iscariot went to the chief priests and agreed to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. It was not a public moment. There was no immediate disruption, no visible fracture. It unfolded in conversation, in privacy, in a place where motives could remain unexamined. And there is something deeply sobering in that. Not all missteps are loud or obvious. Some take shape in ordinary moments, under the appearance of normalcy. A small compromise here. A quiet rationalization there. What may have seemed like a manageable decision in that moment carried a weight far greater than it appeared. And yet, this is where the theme of guidance becomes quietly urgent. Because decisions are rarely formed in a single moment, they are shaped over time, through what we allow, what we justify, and what we fail to bring before God. It reminds us that outward closeness to Christ can coexist with inward distance if we are not attentive, that one can walk alongside truth and still make choices that move quietly away from it. Holy Wednesday, then, is not only a warning. It is an invitation. An invitation to pause before we proceed. To examine not just what we are choosing, but what is guiding our choice. To bring even our smallest decisions into the light of God's presence, where clarity is not forced, but gently formed. Many who are listening carry the quiet weight of responsibility. Decisions are rarely isolated. They affect families, relationships, finances, health, and the future in ways that are not always visible at the outset. There is the pressure of wanting to get it right, especially when the consequences are not small. There is the fatigue that comes from years of making choices, some of which still echo in the present. There are moments when clarity feels distant, and yet a decision must still be made. And beneath it all, there can be a quiet weariness, of thinking carefully, of weighing options, of holding everything together. God's guidance has not been withdrawn from you in these moments. But fatigue can make it harder to recognize. When we are tired, we can mistake urgency for clarity. We can reach for what resolves tension quickly rather than what aligns deeply. We can begin to lean on habit or fear instead of truth. And yet, even here, God remains patient. He does not rush you. He does not pressure you into decisions. He meets you within the process itself. Holy Week reveals more than events. It reveals the condition of the human heart under pressure. It shows how we respond when decisions cost us something. It brings into the light whether we choose convenience or conviction, whether we follow truth or protect comfort. This is not meant to condemn. It is meant to clarify. God is not standing over us with urgency or disappointment. He is inviting us into a deeper way of seeing, of recognizing how we choose, and allowing that awareness to be refined. God's guidance is often quieter than we expect. It does not force. It does not manipulate. It does not overwhelm. It steadies. It clarifies over time. It aligns us with truth, even when emotion pulls in another direction. There is a difference between pressure and leading. Pressure insists, pushes, and creates anxiety. Leading invites, steadies, and allows space. Fear urges quick decisions to avoid discomfort. Wisdom is willing to wait, even when waiting is difficult. Impulse seeks immediate resolution. Conviction is willing to endure tension for the sake of what is right. Avoidance delays what requires courage. Discernment pauses with intention, not out of fear, but out of reverence for the weight of the decision. God does not simply direct our choices. He forms the person who makes them. And that formation often happens slowly, beneath the surface, like roots growing deeper in unseen soil. So we pause here, gently, without accusation, and allow these questions to sit beside us. Are we asking for guidance, or for permission? Have we already decided, and are now seeking agreement? Do we avoid decisions that require courage? Are we listening for truth, or for comfort? Do we trust God's timing, or do we resist it? Have we mistaken urgency for clarity? These questions are not meant to unsettle the heart, but to steady it, to bring it back into alignment with what is real. Uncertainty is often uncomfortable, but it is not empty. It is a place of formation. It slows what would otherwise be rushed. It exposes motives we might not have noticed. It teaches patience before action. It invites us to rely not on outcomes, but on the character of God. Discernment is not formed only in moments of clarity. It is formed in the waiting, in the quiet space where we learn to remain steady without immediate answers. Guide our decisions, Lord. Steady our hearts. Quiet what is restless within us. Make your way clear in its time. Protect us from hurried choices. Align our will with yours. Teach us to pause before we proceed. There are moments when the path ahead does not appear all at once, but gradually, like a narrow way becoming visible one step at a time. There are times when the heart feels like a compass being gently corrected, not with force, but with steady direction. Like oil being poured slowly into a lamp, clarity comes in a way that sustains, not overwhelms. A hand pauses before writing the next line, aware that what is written matters. A door remains closed for now, not as rejection, but as protection from moving too quickly. Beneath it all, unseen roots continue to grow, strengthening what will eventually support what is chosen. We also acknowledge what resists this process. There is the fear of making mistakes that cannot be undone. The quiet regret over past decisions that still influence how we think today. The desire to avoid difficult conversations, even when they are necessary. The temptation to delay what requires courage. The pull toward overthinking, where clarity becomes clouded rather than refined. The urge to withdraw from responsibility when the weight feels too heavy. And the quiet exhaustion that comes from being dependable for so long. Lord, meet us here with compassion, not pressure. Give us courage without haste. Clarity without anxiety. Movement without force. And acceptance when answers are not immediate. Careful decision-making is not weakness. Taking time is not failure. Wisdom often moves quietly, without recognition. God is not frustrated by a thoughtful heart. He is present within the process. The very act of seeking guidance is itself a sign of maturity, of a heart that values truth over ease. And so we bring our decisions before you now, not in urgency, but in trust. For the decisions that feel complex, where there are many factors and no clear answer, grant clarity in your time. For the weight we carry for others, give us discernment that is not clouded by pressure. For the fatigue within us, restore steadiness of mind and heart. For the influence of comparison, free us from measuring our path against others. For the voices around us, protect us from manipulation and from choices shaped by fear of disappointment. For our own inner voice, refine it so that it aligns with truth rather than anxiety. For our relationships, grant discernment, when to speak, when to listen, when to set boundaries, and when to extend grace. For our words, give wisdom in both speech and silence. For decisions we may need to revisit, grant humility to correct them without shame. For the moments when clarity comes, give us courage to act, not with haste, but with conviction. And for the spaces where direction unfolds slowly, teach us to trust without becoming restless. Guide our decisions, Lord. Steady our hearts. Quiet what is restless within us. Make your way clear in its time. We place before you the decisions that affect our families, the conversations that require care, the responsibilities that must be carried, the hopes we hold for those we love. We place before you concerns about health, where uncertainty can feel especially heavy. We bring financial responsibilities, where choices carry long-term impact. We offer relationships that need healing, or boundaries, or wisdom to navigate. We bring the questions we have about the future, the ones that do not yet have answers. We do not ask for control over outcomes. We ask for alignment with your guidance. Teach us to trust that you are not absent in the waiting. That you are not withholding clarity out of distance, but forming it within us over time. That even when the path is not fully visible, you are present in each step. And so we rest here, without rushing forward, without pulling back in fear. We remain steady. We remain open. We remain willing to be led. Guide our decisions, Lord. Steady our hearts. Quiet what is restless within us. We release the need to resolve everything today. We release the pressure to have every answer. We release the fear that we must carry this alone. And in its place, we receive a quieter confidence, not in our ability to foresee, but in your faithfulness to guide. Let this day settle gently within us. Let our thoughts be clear. Let our hearts be steady. Let our steps be unhurried. And as we move forward, may we do so with a deep and settled trust, not that we see everything, but that we are being led, patiently and faithfully, one step at a time. In Jesus' name. Amen. Remember, not every decision needs to be made quickly. What is guided by God can be approached with calm, honesty, and patience. Today, let your choices come from clarity, not pressure. Thank you for taking this time to pray with me on this Holy Wednesday. It truly gladdens my heart to know that we are walking this sacred journey together, in quiet reflection and sincere faith. As we make this sacrifice to draw closer to Christ during this season, may He gently meet each of you at the point of your need. May He guide your decisions, steady your heart, and in His mercy, grant you the desires you carry before Him. If this prayer has spoken to you, I invite you to write in the comments, "Lord, guide my decisions." And with faith, also share what you are asking God for on this Holy Wednesday. Let it be an expression of trust, believing that He hears you and will answer in His perfect way. Please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, so this prayer can reach others who may need quiet strength today. And make it a point to join us again tomorrow for Holy Thursday, as we enter the beginning of the Triduum, walking with Christ through betrayal, His passion, His suffering, the cross, His death, and ultimately His resurrection. These next prayers will be deeply meaningful, and I would truly love for you to be part of them. Until then, remain steady, remain prayerful, and may God continue to guide you gently in all things.